Gio had never been the best at anything. Sure, he could skateboard a little, and his video game skills were decent, but when it came to school, sports, or even making friends, he just felt average. He watched his classmates nail every challenge that came their way, and it made him feel like he was stuck on the sidelines, watching life pass him by. Then came the announcement, the biggest challenge of the year, the school-wide obstacle course. Whoever won would get a great prize, tickets to the EDM festival that everyone was dying to go to. Gio wasn't going to sit this one out. This was his chance to finally prove he could do something epic. The day of the race, Gio showed up early, eyes locked on the massive obstacle course set up in the field. There were climbing walls, monkey bars, mud pits, and even a zip line. He'd been watching YouTube videos of how to make it through stuff like this. But when he saw the other competitors, star athletes like Rocky, Tessa, and Jose, his confidence started to shrink. What if he wasn't fast enough? What if he messed up? The race started with a loud whistle. Rocky sprinted ahead, Tessa wasn't far behind, and Gio, well, he was last. Great, he muttered under his breath. Still, he pushed forward. The climbing wall was next. Gio was too slow and being too careful. By the time he reached the top, the others had already reached the mud pit. The crowd cheered, but Gio's legs felt like lead. He wanted to quit. He wanted to just turn around and walk off, but something inside him said, keep going. With each new obstacle, he kept fighting. He wasn't the fastest, but he refused to stop. He kept pushing through, even when it seemed like the other kids were way ahead. By the time he reached the final stretch, he was still last, but he could see Jose and Tessa not too far ahead. Gio's legs were becoming jelly, and the finish line felt miles away. In the last few seconds, Gio stumbled. His foot tripped, and he crashed to the ground. He tried to stand, but his body refused to cooperate. Rocky crossed the finish line first, followed by Tessa, and then Jose. Gio wasn't even close. He lay there on the ground, exhausted, feeling like he'd failed. The crowd cheered for the winners, and Gio's heart sank. He lost. He wasn't even close. But then something unexpected happened. Rocky jogged back, pausing next to Gio. "You okay?" he asked, offering a hand. Gio hesitated, but he took it. "Thank you, my friend," he said. As he pulled himself to his feet, he realized the finish line was only about 50 feet ahead. The race was over, but Gio, completely exhausted, forced himself to cross the finish line anyway. Sure, he hadn't won, but he finished. He didn't give up. He didn't quit. He completed every obstacle, even when he felt like there was no chance of winning. The concert prize wasn't the real win. The real victory was in not giving up. He'd completed something that challenged him, and that in itself was something to be proud of.